She is actually one of the worst people ever. Welcome back to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and today we are reviewing See No Evil. This is one of the many films that WWE produced under their WWE Studios banner. Thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you never miss a single show. Also, like the video and post a comment down below letting me know if this is your first time here. It stars WWE Hall of Famer Kane as Jacob Goodnight, this film's antagonist. Also listed in the credits as an executive producer is Vince McMahon, which makes sense, but it's still odd to see his name pop up like that. This movie is decent enough, I guess. I mean, it's nothing special, but there is some pretty good gore here if that's what you're looking for. The story, on the other hand, is kind of lacking, maybe. It's not really fleshed out in the best way, and the same goes for the characters. This movie has moments that are memorable, but as a whole, it's kind of forgettable. But regardless of that, protect your eyes because it is time to head down to the ring so we can officially get this show started. The film opens as Officer Frank Williams and his partner Blaine investigate a rundown house. Inside the disgusting house, they find a young woman with her eyes ripped out.
Oh my God.
And disgusting is basically the whole aesthetic of this movie. Jacob Goodnight, played by the devil's favorite demon, emerges and murders Blaine with an axe before he chops Frank's arm off as well. It's really his hand, not his entire arm. Despite this life-altering injury, Frank is able to shoot his attacker, incapacitating him. Afterwards, detectives find 7 more bodies in the house, all of which have had their eyes ripped out. Years later, Frank is now working at a prison where he and his partner Hannah take a group of delinquents to the abandoned Blackwell Hotel. Among this group is Christine, Kira, Michael, Tyson, Zoe, Melissa, Richie, and Russell. Throughout all of this, Michael is stalking Kira. She used to work for him before they went to prison, and this seems like something that they should have known before allowing Michael near her, but Frank says they had no idea. At least they address it, but this comment definitely seems just like a quick fix for an issue that would never be allowed to actually happen on a trip like this. The reason for this trip is a new program that allows them to complete community service to reduce their sentences. Their goal? Clean up the hotel in order to turn it into a homeless shelter. The owner, Margaret, explains this to the group. That night, some members of the group go to the penthouse to party. Tyson and Richie, on the other hand, decide to go looking for the previous owner's safe. What they find, though, is the body of a recently deceased man.
The fire was 30 years ago. This guy is fresh.
Richie panics and runs away faster than a hill with no backup. Unfortunately, he doesn't get away, being dragged into an elevator with a hook by Jacob Goodnight, who has been living here. Margaret tells Hannah the elevator is in use, so she goes to check on the group, but is killed in the elevator as well. Christine tries to help Kira escape the hotel, but Jacob attacks Kira with a hook and drags her into the dumbwaiter. The scenes with the hook were originally going to be done digitally, but Kane became so good with it that they decided to do it practically instead, which I think is pretty cool. Christine and Frank go upstairs to find the others, but find Tyson instead, who tells them what happened to Richie. Frank realizes this is the same man who killed his partner, making this one of the biggest coincidences ever. Frank is then pulled into the ceiling by the hook and killed. They killed off the character we've been following the whole time in an attempt to throw a shock twist at the audience, but to me, it just didn't have that same effect as some of the more well-known instances of this tactic. Meanwhile, Kira is being held hostage because of her religious tattoos. She is kept in a cage where she is witness to Jacob removing Richie's eyes. Melissa and Russell then go into a room by themselves, but get chased by Jacob. Russell tries to lower Melissa out of a window and is killed in the process. Jacob then drops Melissa to the ground below. She survives the fall, but is killed by a pack of stray dogs for some reason. Jacob turns his attention to Michael and Zoe and attacks them. Zoe nearly escapes, but her dang cell phone rings, alerting the big red machine to her location. He uses her cell phone as a weapon and shoves it down her throat, killing her. Meanwhile, Michael finds Christine and Tyson as they search for Kira, but they are attacked yet again by Jacob, who knocks Michael out while the other two escape up an elevator shaft. If it feels like this movie is all over the place, well, it is. The pair do end up finding Kira, but who shows up to stop them? That's right, it is Jacob, because he can seemingly be anywhere. Tyson tries to distract Jacob, but he gets shocked with his own taser and then crushed by the giant safe. This just leaves Christine and Kira here, and it's time for someone else to show up finally. Margaret comes in and reveals that she is actually Jacob's mother. She lured Frank to the hotel to get revenge on him for shooting her son. The prisoners were just a bonus. She is actually one of the worst people ever. Her entire philosophy is horrible and disgusting. Margaret starts telling Jacob that Kira is a sinner and her tattoos are blasphemous, even being mean to him in the process. She then attempts to shoot Kira, but Jacob intervenes and throws Margaret head first into a nail on the wall, killing his abusive mother.
I see it.
What?
Michael shows back up, finally awake, to help the girls fight Jacob. After a bit of a struggle, they throw Jacob out the window, thinking it's over. But of course, it's not over, as Jacob grabs one of the girls while hanging from the ledge. Michael hits him over and over with a pipe before finally stabbing Jacob in the eye with it. This starts an extensive CGI sequence where Jacob falls in slow motion through glass. He hits the floor and his heart is impaled by a shard of glass, apparently killing him. I say apparently because there is a sequel in which Kane returns to play Jacob. Anyway, that's where the movie ends. Michael, Christine, and Kira are the survivors, and they kind of try to make Michael into the hero a little bit, which is a bit of an issue for me. This film grossed $18.6 million at the box office on a budget of around $8 million and was not received very well. While I don't think it's quite as bad as some people do, it definitely has some problems. And we are going to dive deeper into all of that, but first we do have to take a quick break, so stick around for more WWH action. If you're looking to save 20% off of your order from Redcon1.com, don't look any further because I have a really good deal for you. If you'll go to their website, put some things in your shopping cart, use code AndrewDreamer at checkout, you will receive 20% off your entire order. It's a really good deal. They have top-of-the-line products to help you achieve the highest state of readiness. So, go to their website and use code AndrewDreamer when checking out and you will receive 20% off of your entire order. Welcome back to WWH. Let's head back down to the ring. My first positive for See No Evil is the performance by Kane. Regardless of what you think about him as a person, his contributions throughout the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era are numerous. His debut is one of the best debuts ever, in my opinion. We had never seen The Undertaker scared of anybody before, and this monster that came down to the ring and ripped the door off the cell genuinely scared him. His own brother, long thought to be dead, coming back for revenge. It really is a great storyline, and Kane brought that same dedication he had inside the ring to this role. He became so proficient with the chain and the hook that they got rid of digital effects. And he even brought elements of Jacob Goodnight over to WWE by going after his opponent's eyes. I think that's pretty cool. And I even remember the first time I saw this movie and how shocked I was seeing him remove people's eyes. It was probably the grossest thing I had seen up until that point. The gore is actually really good in this movie, aside from that final scene. And despite how much I hate the character, the performance by Cecily Poulson as Margaret is probably the best in the movie. She portrays the character in such a believable way that just makes you hate her even more. On that note, let's transition to the negatives now. Margaret is a horrible person. Literally, she is the worst.
This is the worst!
Once she reveals her true nature, you can't wait for her to die. Most of the other cast is just forgettable. Most of them are only there to inflate the body count, and Frank shouldn't have died so early. His death completely invalidated the opening of the film and the trauma that he suffered therein. And while the tone of the film is very disgusting by design, it gets on my nerves a little bit. Another thing that gets on my nerves is Michael. I don't think he deserved any redemption at all, but they gave it to him. He essentially saves the day, and I'm not saying that people can't change or they don't deserve a second chance, but Michael literally does nothing that indicates he has changed. Also, that CGI at the end of the movie is so bad. Even by 2006 standards, it was not good. You kind of need to see it for yourself to understand what I mean. It's almost laughable. I don't know why they felt it necessary to show the inside of Jacob's body when his heart is pierced and all of that. Doesn't make sense to me. Overall though, there is some fun to be had if you want some gore and decent kills. And if you're a fan of Kane, then check this movie out. But it is time to wrap up our show now. Let me know in the comments what you think about See No Evil. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. Head over to Patreon and consider becoming a member of the WWH Universe. Like the video and post a comment down below letting me know what else you want to see me cover here. We have a lot more coming your way very soon. But until then, my name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.